Oh 7 citizens, my name is Black and welcome to my channel, CasaBLACK Gaming, a home for players looking to learn more about Star Citizen, whether that be its many ships, game features, or even what or when to expect new features with my roadmap deep dives. Today I wanted to tackle a question that I see many people ask, and that is which ship to buy, and more specifically, which medium-sized ship is the right choice, as this can be many players' first upgrade from their starter ship. Now this video will not make a decision for you, but instead will give you some facts about each ship and discuss the play function that they excel in, so you can decide which ship fits the role that you want to play in the verse. So let's go ahead and sit back and get into the info. Now each one of these medium ships falls within a rough price range, going for about $110 for the Cutlass Black and Freelancer to $125 for the Spirit C1. Now all three of these ships have variants that can further define your playstyle, such as a bomber version of the Spirit and multiple other variants for the Cutlass series and Freelancer, with those including more combat options and a larger cargo for the Freelancer, and then a medical and bounty hunting ship, not to mention a dropship troop transport option for the Cutlass series. The thing to keep in mind with any of these is that the prices go up from these base prices by quite a bit depending on the role, with combat focused ships always costing more. Another very important thing to keep in mind is that with the exception of the C1, these are all available in-game to buy with earnable credits, so don't feel the need to spend real money on any of these ships unless you just really want one of these ships as your main pledge to own from a 0-day starting point, meaning you will always have it in your hangar throughout the testing phase of the game, no matter if there's a wipe or not. For the purpose of this video, I will be sticking to just the base versions, which is the Cutlass Black, the Freelancer, and Spirit C1. By the way, the C1 should be available in-game to buy with the 3.23 update coming in April, so it won't be a money purchase only ship too much longer. Now some other basics for these ships are that they are pretty much similar in usable size, with their length, width, and height mostly being similar, with the C1 edging out the other two due to its pointier design, which is not really usable space and mainly just part of Crusader's design language. As far as thrusters and speeds, they're very similar in their limitations, with the Cutlass edging out both the Freelancer and C1 in speed. But the overall king of handling is the C1 Spirit, with Crusader's patented booster technology helping to edge it out here, meaning that the Spirit series of ships handle very well and is also very new player friendly. Now something else to note in terms of thrusters are the VTOLs, which help with vertical takeoffs. The Freelancer does not have VTOLs, while the Cutlass and C1 have some, with again the C1 edging out the Cutlass with its 6 VTOLs versus the Cutlass's 2. As far as the other components, for now the specs are mostly the same where it matters, except the shields. The Freelancer has 2 size 2 shields, and both the Cutlass and Spirit each have 1 size 2 shield, so that might play a factor with combat, which we'll discuss in a bit. So speaking of combat, let's go ahead and discuss how each ship handles in combat. The Spirit C1 is a cargo ship first and foremost. While it can do some combat with its 4 size 3 guns and 8 standard missiles, its lack of that second shield generator compared to the Freelancer makes it weaker in combat and more likely to lose a battle against a more battle-hardened ship. The Cutlass is in the same boat in terms of its single size 2 shielding, but the Cutlass can also have a second player and a turret, which can very quickly make it formidable and a danger for others who think they're just facing a solo cutty. However, the Cutlass is quick to lose either or both of its large rear boosters, which can quickly cause flight maneuverability problems, and thus the tide of battle will flip out of its favor. The Freelancer, on the other hand, has a rear turret for another player just like the Cutlass, and with its extra shielding it can easily handle more than either ship, and having those extra seats with it seating up to 4 means if your Freelancer is attacked and put into soft death, anyone who tries to board your ship could be facing a couple more combatants that they might not have been expecting, not to mention having extra hands on deck once engineering goes live means more hands to help fix the ship to keep it flying. Many players use these ships as a transport ship to FPS bunkers or other outposts and soon-to-be distribution centers. While on these missions, the ship can be used not just for landing and combat prep, but also as a place to bring your looted items or other items that you pilfer. Having gun racks or space to get geared or having easier access points can make or break the FPS ground combat experience. The Freelancer is quite cramped and does offer up the larger spaces of the Cutlass or Spirit. The Cutlass in particular is very suited to outpost combat with those sliding doors on the sides, so players can easily have a sniper's nest if need be, or to track their items or fallen players from the surface. The Spirit only has a single access point, which to me is a crucial lacking point over the Cutlass. Not to mention its wider footprint and very low to the ground landing gear can cause some difficulties when landing in a rocky terrain or for combat players trying to enter or exit the ship, especially when you're in a hurry. For those players who plan on running cargo missions or who want to pick up salvaged wares or found cargo, the C1 is a great choice for this range and one of two ships that can actually hold the 32 SCU container, the other being of course the MISC Freelancer, with that base version only able to hold a single 32 SCU container instead of the two that the Spirit can hold. Now, as far as total SCU space, the Spirit holds 64 SCU, but you can also place more containers free floating between the two locked-in grid locations, so that's a bonus. The Cutlass Black can hold 46 SCU, with its blue and red counterparts only able to hold 12 SCU. The Freelancer base model can hold slightly more than the Spirit at 66, but keep in mind that 12 of that 66 SCU will be in a separate cargo hold that is beyond a bulkhead, and you're limited to only being able to fit 2 SCU boxes through that hatch. Now, with physicalized cargo and inventory in general becoming almost a full-on thing with 323, some ships' cargo holds will become more of a hassle when moving cargo back and forth, and so ease of use will be a factor until a ship update is done, which the Freelancer is definitely due for an update, but nothing announced yet. Do keep in mind that the Freelancer line does have a larger cargo hold in the Max variant, with its cargo going up to 120 SCU, and that extra width does allow it to hold 2 of those 32 SCU large containers, so this might be a consideration for players, but keep in mind the price does scale up to $150 US. Another popular use for these ships will be the carrying of ground vehicles. All three of these vehicles can carry roughly the same size ground vehicles, with each of the three having some various spatial differences that can make loading easier or not. In particular, you can expect a narrower fit with the Freelancer ship versus the other two. Overall, you can expect to be able to fit the STV, mules, and most of the gravity bikes, although a tractor beam can make the grav vehicles a little easier to place or remove from the cargo hold. The Cyclones do fit better on the Cutlass and C1 versus the Freelancer, since you'll be right up against the sidewall when exiting the vehicle, which can cause issues, especially if you're a solo player, so please keep that in mind. One of the big ground vehicles that many new players ask about is the rock mining vehicle, and if it can fit on these ships, and the answer is yes. They can all hold the normal rock mining ground vehicle. The Freelancer will be the tightest fit, with the wheelbase of the rock almost not fitting, but it can be done with some proper angling. It's just not as ideal or quick as loading onto the Cutlass or C1, but still doable. The vehicle class that will not fit any of these is the Ursa line of vehicles. They are simply too wide, and you will need to go up to the next size in flyables such as the Constellations, MSR, or the Corsair. Now, before I complete this video, there is one other consideration I want to address, and that is the age of the ships. The Cutlass and Freelancer variants have all been in the verse for many years now at this point, and as the ship pipeline has progressed through the years, the team have learned and added a lot to the process. Now, what this means is that the newer ships almost always have a more stable feel, or the most current additions, versus the older ships, with some of those, like the Freelancer, needing an overhaul or updates to bring it in line with the current ships arriving on the scene. The Freelancer might very well have a huge overhaul compared to where it is at currently, and as many would like to see it brought up to speed and possibly even redesigned from the 4-player seating and 4-player beds it currently has to be more aimed at 2 players and to allow for more room to be delegated out to better cargo and living amenities. The Cutlass is in a pretty good space right now, but even it, in many players' eyes, has wasted space and could use some more living amenities or further refinement. The C1, on the other hand, being the new kid on the block, is a fully fledged ship and should be fine for many years moving forward, so if this is a concern for you, then you might want to consider that. Keep in mind though that if the Freelancer or Cutlass are changed, you could see your ship's value increase if you own it outright, so holding on to it might be a good move as well. Alright, so speaking of new ships, the RSI Zeus Mk2 is making its way to the Verse later this year, and it plans to swing for the fences in terms of what it will be offering in this roughly same ship size. It will come in 3 flavors. The ES is the exploration variant with a better radar for scanning and more weaponry and shielding to get you where you need to go safely. The CL is the cargo variant, which will outclass the ships on this list with its 128 SCU of cargo and size 2 rear tractor beam, which should make it as functional as the C1's, not to mention 3 size 2 shields, meaning it will be able to get you and your cargo where it needs to go safely. The final variant of the Zeus Mk2 line is the MR, which is a bounty hunting variant complete with 2 size 4 gun hardpoints, along with a top and bottom turret, each with 2 size 3 guns, and a pair of size 4 missile racks. The MR will also have an EMP to disable ship systems and a quantum dampening field to keep your targets from escaping. The Zeus line is set to seriously disrupt the medium ship meta and very well could be the best choice to tackle all of the mentioned roles that the ships in this video currently occupy. So far, Star Citizen has done a pretty good job in this medium ship range of giving players choices, but not always clear cut, with most on this list having some sort of deficiency in some area versus the others. Now I hope that this is a trend that we continue to see so we as players have choices without any clear cut winner. Alright, so that's going to do it for this quick ship comparison on medium ships. I hope I have given you much food for thought and helped steer you in a direction of which ship is right for you in this medium category. Now keep in mind that if you're interested in getting a Zeus, until they come out you will receive a loaner in the Spirit range. So if you like cargo and go for the Zeus CL or ES, you're going to get the Spirit C1 to fly as a loaner until the CL comes out. If you want the MR, you'll get the Spirit A1 bomber variant until that one comes out. The Zeus is not currently available to purchase, but it should be available to buy in May when Invictus and that ship sale comes out, so keep that in mind. If you found this vehicle comparison video helpful, then please do all of the things that help a small channel out, and especially comment down below about these ships. Which do you currently fly? Will you be upgrading to the Zeus when it comes out, or have you already? Which other brand needs a medium ship variant? Now, I'd personally like to see an origin that fits between the 300 and 400 series of ships. Anyway, thanks for watching, and remember to keep it positive out there in the verse.